hiking in from near the Eckville shelter, going north on to Hawk Mountain towards Dan's pulpit. It's going to be about 7.5 miles into the Allentown shelter area, where I plan to camp out tonight. Okay, just got up Hawk Mountain. Nice climb. Now headed towards Dan's pulpit. This is the Allentown shelter. There are plenty of campsites. I camped down through there last night. A nice privy over here. And a decent hike down to the water, but considering I guess it's mid to late August, there's still water there, which I was happy to find out yesterday when I got in the camp, because I was totally out of water. So gonna head back the same way I came in, 7.5 miles about, back towards Eckville. It's gonna be at 100 degrees today, so I'm getting started early-ish. It's 8 now. Hopefully I get the hike done before 2 o'clock when it's peak heat. Cool little campsite up here, about 1.5 miles from the shelter. These are all dry, but they're kind of neat. So I didn't take a lot of video yesterday. It was kind of a late start, and I was kind of stressing a little bit about the water situation. Yeah, it was like 95, almost 100 degrees, super humid, and I was kind of like banking on the shelter having water, and so I brought like almost 2 liters, and I was like wanting to drink the last liter, but then like worried that I might run into a dry spring at the shelter. So I was kind of conserving, but at the same time definitely getting dehydrated. So plus I would say that the section I hiked from Dan's Pulpit to Allentown shelter was probably the worst section of trail you could ever show someone who's going backpacking for the first time, because it would probably make them never want to do it again. Especially in the height of August, it is a slog. There was just like overgrowth everywhere, tons of like just walking through weeds, so constantly checking for ticks, just rocks like crazy, and just no views. And so glad I did it. I haven't walked this part of the Appalachian Trail before, but by the time I was at the shelter, I was done. And I was just like, walked in, there was these 2 guys there, really nice, and I was like, please tell me the spring has water. And they're like, yes. I was like, okay. And then I just drank the rest of my liter. You know, you're not going to walk 7.5 miles, even though it's not that far around here in 100 degrees through that water. Anyway, all worked out, but definitely a learning experience. Also used my tarp for the first time. That was really interesting. Like, it went really smoothly. I was thinking there might be some thunderstorms, because that was what they were calling for, some scattered thunderstorms, but there didn't end up being any. And so I was kind of happy that happened, because it was like, you know, it could have been risky, but at the same time kind of like disappointed, because I kind of wanted to test it a little bit more. Definitely figured out that with the bug bivy, you want to make sure that you're set up in a pretty, like, basically what happened was, is like the bug bivy kind of just traveled with the pad to wherever the lowest spot was, and that happened to be kind of like towards the side of the tarp, and like there didn't seem to be any way to really mitigate that. I guess I could have staked down the bug bivy, but I didn't bring extra stakes for that. So that's one thing, to make sure kind of like you have a good idea of where like you think the final resting place of the bug bivy with you and is going to be, because as long as it stays under the tarp, it's fine. But if it kind of like starts scooting out the side of the tarp, that could be bad. Anyway, so feeling much more comfortable on this walk back today, because it's earlier, it's not as hot, I've got water, and no time constraint. Oh, that was another thing yesterday. I was trying to beat the sun, because starting to set around. I got in around 7 o'clock, and the sun we probably had another half hour of okay light, and so I mean I had my headlamp or whatever, but you know, ideally you don't want to be hiking in a trail you've never been on before with tons of rocks without, you know, without overhead light. So yesterday a little bit stressful, but ended up working out terrific. Guys at the shelter offered me a sausage, so it was like, you know, you can't ask for better than that. And that's one of the best things about being out here. Freaking Pennsylvania. Man, it is hazy out there. Consumed more spider web in the last hour and a half than I have in my entire life. Which probably isn't so much because read spider web. So even though it's like 90 degrees, I have chosen to put my long pants on because this overgrowth is so insane. Pretty cool. See this tree branch that's been cut? I did that in the spring. It's kind of neat to see your own handiwork as you hike the trail. Well, we are coming to the end of this jaunt. It is getting hot, so I'm happy. And saw a number of folks on big backpacks up the hill. And, I was not jealous. Hopefully they stay cool and hydrated.